You spend decades building your wealth and refining your style. Yet, 90% of you are destroying your image with one invisible mistake. You walk into a room looking like a CEO, but you smell like a teenage lifeguard. Gentlemen wearing sport or blue aquatic fragrances over the age of 50 is a cognitive dissonance. It screams that you are clinging to a youth that has passed, rather than embracing the power you now possess. Scent is the only accessory that enters the room before you and stays after you leave. It should not be fresh. It should be substantial. Today, we retire the gym locker sprays. I will teach you the olfactory hierarchy, how to choose a fragrance that commands respect, signals maturity, and leaves a legacy in your wake. Let's begin. Principle 1. The Anti-Aqua Rule. We must begin by purging your cabinet. Open your bathroom drawer. If you see a bottle that is bright blue, shaped like a trophy, or has the words sport, ice, or cool printed on it, you are holding the enemy of your elegance. This is what I call the blue trap. In the 1990s, the perfume industry revolutionized the market with a synthetic molecule called cologne. It mimicked the smell of sea breeze and melon. It was fresh, it was cheap, and it was everywhere. It became the soundtrack of the gym locker room and the high school dance. The problem is not that these scents smell bad. The problem is that they smell young and mass market. The error of cognitive dissonance style is about harmony. It is about the alignment of your appearance, your status, and your aura. Imagine a man over 50. He is wearing a tailored charcoal suit or a cashmere sweater. He has silver hair, lines of wisdom on his face, and he carries himself with the slow, deliberate gravity of success. Now imagine that man leans in to shake your hand, and he smells like a splashing wave of synthetic citrus and salty water. It is a jarring disconnect. It creates cognitive dissonance. Your face says CEO, but your scent says intern at a pool party. It signals a desperate, subconscious attempt to cling to youth. It suggests that you haven't updated your grooming routine since you were 25. The chemistry of aging. There is also a biological factor. As we age, our skin chemistry changes. Our skin becomes drier and slightly more acidic. The sharp, high-pitched citrus notes and metallic aquatic accords found in cheap sport fragrances often turn sour or overly metallic on mature skin. Instead of smelling fresh, they can smell like industrial glass cleaner. Furthermore, freshness is not a substitute for cleanliness. You do not need a cologne to prove you have showered. Soap does that. Your fragrance should add a layer of personality, not just announce hygiene. The exception versus the rule. Do not misunderstand me. I am not saying a man over 50 cannot smell fresh. But there is a difference between the synthetic freshness of a $50 gym scent and the aristocratic freshness of a classic Italian cologne. If you love citrus, you must upgrade from the chemical Acqua to the refined colonia. Think of the difference between a bottle of Gatorade and a glass of fine vintage champagne. Both are liquids, both are yellowish, but they belong in different worlds. Unless you are literally playing tennis or sailing a boat at that exact moment, leave the aquatic scents behind. You have graduated from the fresh phase of life. You are now in the substance phase. Your scent must have weight. It must have a foundation. It must be grounded in the earth, not floating on the surface of a swimming pool. Principle 2. The notes of legacy. Now that we have cleared the air, we must fill the void with substance. If aqua scents are the olfactory equivalent of a polyester t-shirt, then the scents we are about to discuss are a bespoke wool overcoat. We are looking for the notes of legacy. In the language of perfumery, fragrances are built in a pyramid. Top notes, which fade in minutes, middle notes, and base notes. The young man buys a fragrance for the top notes, the initial explosion of excitement. The man over 50 must invest in the base notes. These are the heavy, slow-moving molecules that linger on the skin for 8 to 10 hours. They represent patience, endurance, and stability. We focus on 3 specific pillars of authority: wood, earth, and warmth. Pillar 1. The earth, reliability. For the daytime professional, you want a scent that signals you are grounded. You are not a cloud. You are the mountain. The keynote here is vetiver, a fragrant grass root that smells of dry earth and fresh soil. The absolute gold standard here is Terre d'Hermès, pure parfum. This is not a perfume that tries to be sexy in a loud way. It smells of flint, slate, grapefruit, and cedar. It smells like a man who builds empires. It is dry, serious, and utterly sophisticated. When you wear this, you are telling the world, I am steady, I am reliable. You can build on me. Pillar 2. The warmth, intimacy. As the sun sets, or for colder months, you need to project depth and richness. We turn to notes of tobacco, leather, and oud. These are scents that recall the interior of a vintage Bentley or the atmosphere of an old-world private members club. Look at Tom Ford's Oud Wood. It uses rare agar wood, spices, and amber. It is smooth, dark, and mysteriously expensive. Alternatively, consider Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille or Parfums de Marly's Herod. These fragrances blend the sweetness of dried tobacco leaves with warm vanilla and spices. They are comforting yet powerful. They encourage people to lean into your personal space. They don't smell like effort. They smell like attainment. Pillar 3. The aristocratic fresh, the exception. I mentioned earlier that we avoid sport scents. However, if you live in a hot climate or simply prefer lightness, you must choose the Italian way. You want colonia, not aqua. The masterpiece here is Acqua di Parma, Colonia Intensa. Unlike the fleeting citrus of cheap sprays, this blends citrus with leather and cedarwood. It creates a crisp, soapy barbershop cleanliness that feels timeless and patrician. It is the scent of a man wearing a linen suit on the Amalfi Coast, not a boy in board shorts. The dry down test. Here is the practical rule for buying these. Never buy a bottle after smelling it on a paper strip for 5 seconds. That is the marketing trick. Spray it on your skin. Wait 30 minutes. Let the alcohol evaporate and the top notes die. What is left is the dry down. This is the true soul of the fragrance. This is what the world will actually smell on you. A boy smells like potential, bright, energetic, and fleeting. A man over 50 should smell like history, deep, complex, and enduring. Choose a scent that has a story as long as yours. Principle 3. The intimacy protocol. We have chosen the scent of a king. Now, you must ensure you do not apply it like a jester. This brings us to the final and perhaps most critical principle of olfactory elegance, the etiquette of application. There is a stereotype known as the cologne guy. You know him. He walks into an elevator, and suddenly the air becomes unbreathable. He enters a restaurant, and the taste of your wine is ruined by the cloud of vapor he drags behind him. This is an act of aggression. It is invasive. For a man over 50, projecting a scent across a room does not signal power. It signals insecurity. It screams, "Please notice me." True power does not need to shout. The cardinal rule of old money styling applies perfectly here. Your scent should be discovered, not announced. The science of concentration, EDT versus EDP. The first step in controlling your projection is understanding what you are buying. Most men buy eau de toilette, EDT. This is the standard concentration, 5 to 15% oil. It has a high alcohol content, which makes the scent explode off your skin and project far into the room. It is loud, but it dies quickly, leading men to respray constantly. The upgrade for the mature man is eau de parfum, EDP, or parfum. These contain 15–30% oil and less alcohol. Why does this matter? Because oil is heavier than alcohol. It does not fly off your skin, it sits on it. An eau de parfum creates a tighter, denser aura. It lasts much longer, 8+ hours, but it stays closer to your body. It is richer, smoother, and lacks the harsh alcohol burn of cheaper sprays. Always spend the extra money for the EDP version. Quality over quantity. The intimate bubble strategy. Now let's talk about the intimate bubble. Your scent should only be detectable within your personal space, approximately an arm's length or less, about 0.5 meters. It should be a reward for those whom you allow close to you. When you shake a business partner's hand, they should catch a faint, reassuring whiff of cedar. When a woman leans in to hug you or whisper in your ear, she should be enveloped in warm tobacco and vanilla. If the receptionist smells you from her desk when you walk through the door, you have failed. The application ritual. How do you achieve this perfect balance? Skin only, never clothes. Never spray fragrance on your expensive suit jackets or silk ties. The oils can stain the fabric, and more importantly, fabric does not generate heat. Perfume needs your body heat to evolve and release its heart and bass notes. If you spray it on your shirt, it stays linear and flat. The pulse points. Apply 2 to 3 sprays maximum. Target the warmest areas, the side of the neck, behind the ear, and the inside of the wrist. The neck, for the embrace. The wrist, for the gesture. When you move your hands to speak or check your watch, you release subtle wafts of scent. Do not rub. After spraying your wrists, do not rub them together. This friction generates heat that breaks down the delicate top notes and bruises the scent, making it fade faster. Just spray and let it dry. Mastering the intimacy protocol creates a psychological advantage. By forcing people to lean in to smell you, you subtly command the space. You become a magnet, not a loudspeaker. You create an aura of mystery. They wonder what that captivating scent is, and to find out, they must get closer to the source. You. Gentlemen, your scent is the invisible period at the end of the sentence that is your style. Do not let that sentence end with a question mark. Go to your cabinet today. Find that blue bottle of sport spray and throw it in the trash. It belongs to a version of you that no longer exists. Then, find a scent that speaks of wood, earth, and history. Find a scent that doesn't just say, "I'm here," but whispers, "I remember." A boy smells like potential. A man smells like legacy. If you are ready to command the room without saying a word, like this video and subscribe. I will see you in the next one.